So in this channel, we're going to talk about everything you should be aware of in your manifestation journey. Hi, my name is Peña, and I am a successful real estate agent / coach and entrepreneur in my overall, I was gonna say my life, but in my area, in whatever you want to call it. For me personally, one of the things that really helped me in my journey was to be aware. And I want to really share that with you all because it does not matter what programs you invest into. It doesn't matter what you are reading. It doesn't matter what podcast you're listening to. If you don't become aware of your paradigm. Now, I'm gonna share with you what resonated with me when I was going down the rabbit hole of just understanding self-help journey books, understanding the concept of like the laws of vibration, the laws of attraction, just everything that's been helping me. And if you have any questions or any of this stuff resonates with you, please hit the comment button or the like button, or overall just share with us your perspective and your journey, because I truly believe that the only way we continue to evolve as humans is by helping one another. When we allow envy and animosity to take over our life, we welcome that into our life. Therefore, we're not really growing. And community is really about a unity between all of us. I think that the more that you resonate with somebody's story and you see how they were able to achieve things, it becomes easier for you to say, hey, they did it, I can sure as hell do it too. So with that being said, let's dive into your paradigm, because that was one of the things that truly helped me understand why I was acting the way that I was acting and how I can shift that into an overall growth lesson for me. Now, just to give you a little bit of background of like what it is that I resonate with, I do strongly believe we are all connected. I believe that one way or the other, in whatever it is you believe in, whether it's Scientology, whether it's religion, whether it's laws of the universe, whatever you believe in, I believe to the very core that we are all talking about the same thing. It has just been so diluted through society, through conditioning of patterns, through people that want you to focus on what they want and what they desire, that they've separated it. I do believe that it doesn't matter whether you're pink, purple, blue, it doesn't matter what you believe in. We, at the end of the day, not only are all coming from the same exact place, source, the universe, God, I believe that religion was a way to separate us as humanity and conquer, which is why I personally respect everybody's beliefs, and I expect the same for mine. So if there's something here that you don't resonate with, we do not entertain negative Nancy's, okay? So this is a all good vibes club. So that's something that you just don't resonate with, please just exit the video. We're gonna be talking about some things that have been proven in my life and in many others' lives. So if this is something that helps you, I am just overwhelmed with joy, and I hope that this is something that, again, resonates with some of you. So with that being said, paradigms. Now, paradigm is a actual conditioning pattern that has now been embedded in you. Essentially, think about it as a computer, right? An engineer goes into a computer and puts a code into that computer. And what are they doing with that? Well, essentially, it's gonna tell the computer what it is that it accepts and what it rejects. What is it that you are able to actually go into your emails? What is it that you need in order for you to actually check your social media accounts? Whatever the case might be, it is a code. Your paradigm acts exactly the same way. However, our paradigm was not designed by this super intelligent person that sat there and made sure that the code was going to work properly. Our paradigm was conditioned by people that we had or didn't have in our life. I was not raised with parents. I was raised with my grandparents, and for the longest time, I had a victim mentality. I felt everything was happening to me. I felt as if I was never going to be able to be successful. I remember seeing my friends from school getting dropped off by their parents, and I was in 3rd grade having to walk to school because my grandparents were at work, coming back home from school, having my little plate ready for me in a little 1-bedroom like storage that we were living in. And everything in my life just felt like I was the victim. Everything in my life just felt as if I had all odds against me. And as I continued to grow in that paradigm, I overall embodied that. I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started doing things that were just not things that were conducive to a healthy and successful life. I was bringing a lot of lack and despair into my life. As I continued to actually internalize that, I had to hit rock bottom in order for me to truly grow from that experience, which is for me why internalizing the material of a paradigm resonated with me. I really started looking for answers. I really wanted to just understand why my life was so compared to what I saw as others being happy. I remember I made all the excuses in the book. I would say, well, the reason why their life is so great is because for me, I don't have a mom, I don't have a dad, I don't have money, I don't play sports, I don't have a family member that can support me. All the excuses in the book were there. And I just remember at that point in time, being in such a state of lack that all I could continue to attract was more lack. Now, I have been working since I was literally 14. I got a job of one of my family members that just really wanted to try and like deter me from like going out and just doing like all the things that were not conducive to my life, vouched for me at her job. They got me a job at a nursery. No, not for the older folks, for the actual plants, okay? So everybody sometimes asks me that question like, oh, you would take care of grand people. No, it was plants, okay? Plants, my little plants. With that being said, that really introduced me to this like hunger within me that I just wanted to overall make money. That was like my thing because I didn't have it, right? So I just was so focused on wanting to make money because to me, that was the key for happiness. For me, that was the pivotal moment that in my life, everything was just gonna happen perfectly. Well, needless to say, that was not the case. I kept working, and as we go through these videos, I'll share more about my story so that you guys can get to know me better. But essentially, as things continue to happen in my life, I just remember being in a state of constant fear and flight. And if you can resonate with that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just constantly in a survival mode. And now, understanding the concept that I know, we are still conditioned by our mind to the times where at one point in time we had a primitive mindset where we were essentially hunting and gathering, right? We were seeking for our food, we were either kill or be killed, and we're constantly in this state of mind. Well, when you're not aware of that and you're going through your teenage years, you're going through your young adult years, you're constantly in that state of mind where you think everybody's out to get you or that you have to pull a fast one on somebody before they pull one on you. So as that continued to happen in my life, I remember just feeling very stuck. I remember at one point, because I had a few jobs, I started working at a call center, and at that call center, I was making $16,000 a year. Yeah, $16,000. I had just had my first son. I was 18, I got pregnant, and then at 19, I had my son. So around that time is when I was working at that call center. And I just remember going to the grocery store and always just being worried about how I was gonna pay for what I was gonna pay for my son, how I was gonna be able to afford the things that I wanted to do for him. Well, this is where my journey really begun, because I remember thinking, I have somebody to look after now. I have somebody that needs me. And when you are the type of person that has been raised with people that they love you and they want the best for you, but they don't know how to teach you better than what they had. I mean, my grandmother, she was working since the age of I think she told me she was 12, 11. She was really, really young. And she just grew up in a state where she had 18 brothers and sisters. Can you believe that? In a place in Mexico, out in Santa Barbara, they did not have money. And she grew up in that lack limitation, therefore she instilled that into me. And that is something that as the time has passed, I am thankful for those opportunities. I am thankful for the fact that I had that journey to learn from, but at that time I didn't see it that way, right? And the reason I say that it's important to become aware is because as all of those things were happening at that time, I remember just wanting more, but not knowing who I could have mentor me, who I could have to really go for guidance. Because if I went for guidance with them, it was like, well, just keep working hard, you know, get your degree, get some job and become successful. That was a paradigm that they knew because they didn't go to school, because they didn't have those things. They thought that was the key. Well, I had friends that had finished college, had gotten degrees, and they were in situations where they were just struggling. I remember I had this one very close friend of mine that he finished his degree, he graduated with honors, and at the end, he was not able to get a job. He just could not land a job because that was just something that he just couldn't get done. And there is that system that sometimes fails some of us because we think, go to school, get good grades, get a job, be successful. But we all know that's not really how it happens unless you make that be your reality. So as things have unfolded, I remember starting in this company that they had tried to recruit me. It was like an MLM, which at that time I did not know anything about MLMs. And if you don't know what an MLM is, it's a multi-level marketing company. Basically, as you recruit more people, the more it helps you. And honestly, that's not to knock on anybody that does MLMs, because honestly, if you're helping people and they're eating, like there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that there's some MLMs that take advantage of people, and those are the ones that I don't resonate with. But at that time, I had never heard of an MLM. So this person reached out to me and they were like, hey, obviously they were doing their recruiting. I did not know that. But I just remember really asking God, the universe, for more opportunities. And this is where like manifestations really tap in, because subconsciously I was already manifesting a better life. I just didn't know what I was doing yet. So as that happened, I remember this person reached out to me and he was like, hey, we're looking for people that want to get into the financial services industry. Is this something you're interested in? So I hear financial services industry, I'm making $16,000 a year. I'm like, sir, sign me up. Where do I go interview? So I go to this interview, and I mean, again, I did not realize like really how the MLMs work, because I actually thought it was an interview. If you don't know what an MLM is, so just giving you the heads up, they're not recruiting, they're not interviewing you. Like they want you there, like you belong, like they're not recruiting you, okay? So I'm sorry, they're not interviewing you, they're recruiting you. So I, at that time, again, did not realize that. So I really thought like, oh my gosh, I'm having an opportunity, which it still was an opportunity, but again, just giving you guys context, right? So I was just like, oh my gosh, I am gonna get a job. I remember they asked me for like an investment. I think it was like $100. And at that time, $100 was a lot of money for me, okay? Like I had never had no more than like, first of all, had never had more than like $500 at once. Needless to say, nothing in my savings, right? That was just something that wasn't in my paradigm. So as they asked me for $100, I remember I was gonna get paid. I was just super excited. I called my grandma, I told her like, oh my gosh, like our lives are gonna change. Like I'm getting this great opportunity. Like I'm so excited. Well, I signed up, and now I had to get my license. I had to get my license for my life and health insurance so that I could be an actual licensed agent to help get people in their life insurance or their health insurance. So I was super excited about that. And sorry if I keep touching my nose. I'm getting a little sick. I'm not getting sick. I canceled that prayer. Actually, yesterday I was getting really, really sick, and I canceled that thought. I was like, no, we're not getting sick here, girl. I got my elderberry. I took some stuff, and we're good. We're good. Sorry, my friend says that that I have like squirrel brain. Like she's like, you're saying one thing and then you're like, oh, this thought. I don't know if you can resonate with that, but if you are, you're my people, you're my tribe. Anyways, so as that happened, I essentially got my license. That was a whole other story time, right? And we'll talk about that another day. But essentially, I had to go through a lot of situations where at one point we had this conference. That conference is a whole other story too. If you're interested, leave a comment. We'll definitely talk about that in another video, because that was just a very like humbling experience for me, because I didn't have money to get to that conference. So like getting there, it was just this whole thing. But we finally make it to the conference. And when we're there at that conference, my gosh, I had never seen individuals be this pumped about something in my whole life. Like that to me was just not normal. I was like, what the hell is going on with these people? Like, what are they on? These people are just excited. They're just with positive energy. They're just in all. The conference is being hosted by this person, Patrick David. I don't know if you know who he is, but now he's like really growing his business. So shout out to him. That's awesome, because when I first started, he was barely starting to like try and push it. Right now, he's like actually making like videos. He has this like valuetainment channel. And I had gone to this conference for the first time just being like, these people are amazing. Like, what exactly is this place? Like, this is so great. Well, somebody got up on the stage because they were just inspiring people, right? They were talking about how they had been able to turn this business into something meaningful for them and just completely change their legacy for their family. So as they're saying this, there's this person that goes up and they're talking about how they've come from nothing. I'm already resonating with this person, right? I'm like, okay, you came from nothing and you have something right now, tell me more. So they're talking to us about how they have now been able to like buy a house for their family, and how like they're just so happy, and how they actually have like the opportunity to travel. At this point, I was 20. No, I was like about to be 20, right? I had not traveled, okay? Like, a lot of people think like, oh, that's the age where you're like traveling and doing all this stuff. Like, I had no money, like I was not traveling, I wasn't doing any of those things. So I was just like, it was like, wow, like these people are traveling, like that's amazing. Like, he's only like a year older than me. Like, how are they doing these things, right? Remember, where you're growing, how you're associating with other people in your life, like that is your paradigm, that is what you are being conditioned by, right? So all I had seen is lack in my family, right? So as I'm hearing this person talk about their story, I get inspired. I have something ignite within me that I was not aware was in me. I always knew that I wanted to do better things, but because of all the things that I had chosen in my life that I had gone through, which now I know they were all lessons, but at that time I was using them as like a victim mentality, I had never had that type of inspiration in my life. Well, that is when things really changed for me. I became aware of how impactful your thoughts were. I didn't really understand the meaning behind manifestation still. I didn't understand the meaning behind the concept of being aware, but I understood that there was a drive within me. And that is how my paradigm began to change. Right now, as I shared with you, I am in a business where I'm just completely blessed. I have my real estate agency, I have my teams, it is actively growing. I have been able to consistently generate over 6 figures, which the first 2 years in real estate were just so impactful. They taught me so much. Year 3, year 4, year 5, every year it kept growing. As I've now gone into my coaching business, I'm like, I want to show more people how to do this. I want to show more people how they can change their mindset and how they can change their entire legacy. Now I have my Airbnb and I am super proud of that, because that would have just not been something that I would have ever fathomed. I'm opening up a car rental business, which I'm just like, we're doing this, like everything you touch turns into gold. I'm listening to my Iniko songs, right? Vibrating over here. But it just goes to show how your mindset, what you've been conditioned by, is going to allow you to truly change what you're embodying. If you've been conditioned by people, or again, the absence of people telling you that you can do something, you were raised thinking you can't do it. You were thinking you were unworthy. You were raised thinking that you just don't have it in you to be successful. As all of those things have happened in your life, it has caused your paradigm, your programming, that little chip we were talking about, to associate with the concept of, I just can't do it. And the only reason why those people are successful is because they have everything handed to them. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. And if I can leave you with one advice right now that truly changed my life, is to become aware. Aware of why you're saying that you cannot achieve what you want to achieve. Why it is that you're saying those constant stories in your mind. Oh, well, my husband left me, so I can't make this happen. Oh, well, I'm a single mom, and that's just not for me. Oh, well, I didn't have parents. All those little things that I just said are things that I used as excuses for such a long time. And until things didn't change in my story of my mind, things in the external world didn't come into fruition. Become aware of that voice in your head. You are not the voice. You are the consciousness above the voice. And if you can start really embodying that material and really understanding who you have been conditioned to be is not who you have to be. You have the choice to truly tap into your destination, to your overall desired outcome. Imagine going to the airport and going up to the people that sell you the tickets for your flight, which most of us do it online, but just humor me, okay? And you go and you tell them, hey, I'm here and I'm ready for my flight. And they're looking at you like, okay, first of all, they're not always that happy, right? But we're gonna pretend they're happy. Okay, how can I help you? Where are you going? And you tell them, well, I don't know where I'm going. They're gonna look at you like, I'm sorry, come again? Because you're not being clear on where your actual destination is. And that's the same thing for your life. How can you expect to achieve your potential? How can you expect to be happy? How can you expect to find the love of your life if you're not clear on what you want? The universe is just hearing all this rumbly, humbly in your mind that's constantly going off and just, oh, he or she said they're unhappy. Give them more of unhappiness. Oh, he or she said that they're not worthy. Give them more unworthiness. The universe is responding to that direct manifestation that you are constantly manifesting, whether you realize it or not. It is constantly coming into fruition. And in our next episode, we'll talk about how important it is for you to really embody the material, because some people will say, well, I think positive all the time and things just don't change for me. Okay, I can sit here all day until I turn purple and say I'm a happy person, but if I don't really feel happy, you're not fooling anybody. So I hope this helps even one of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I am wishing you nothing but success in your journey. We are all here for a higher purpose. You are a spiritual being having a human experience in a physical body, and you are a walking manifestator. I'll talk to you on the next one.